Hi, everyone. So I've always loved software and computers my entire life. I thought about what I would say to you all today, and really my journey to this stage starts with it was called a video pack, a Philips video pack back in '78 that my father gave me, and it had 1K of memory. I looked it up yesterday, and an Intel 4084 or something like that, first Intel chip. And from there on, I just love computers. I love software. I got my Spectrum, I got my Amiga. I moved on to my first PC, got my first C compiler. Sat there, looked at it, had no idea what to do. Man, this was like before the mouse and all that stuff. And I just, I found it amazing and fascinating. So I became an electrical engineer. Had my first job as a software coder, doing SQL, C, BASIC, all that stuff. And the company I was employed in, it crashed. It ran out of money and I was fired. And I sat there and said, wow, and that was a crude experience. So my brother came to me and said, why don't we do a startup? And you'll be the coder and I'll do the business thing. And then we started this web production company that we bootstrapped. It was 94, good timing, very early on. We went to hotels and embassies and we sold them websites. Like $1,000 for a website, you know, and it was like, we had a portable computer with black and white and we showed them what we could do, and some of them gave us $1,000. And that was really my start of in entrepreneurship. And I've been here ever since. We sold that company. We grew it, no funds raised, sold it. I went to the US to get an MBA to understand the business side. And there I took a class where we wrote a business plan for a fiber optic network from London to Helsinki. And we sat there and we thought, how much would that cost? Right? And that we calculated, we're like 4 of us, 2 Americans and a Swede and me. And we thought, Bill, that's probably going to cost $100 million. And then we went to Nortel and Alcatel and we got quotes for it. And it came out at $450 million. And so we went and we raised $145 million in equity from 5 American VCs and $310 million in debt from Morgan Stanley and a syndicate of banks. And it crashed. And I didn't make a single dime, right? So in one case, we grew a company with no funding. We kind of just used what we had. And the other one, we raised almost $500 million and we got 0 out of it. And so I sat down and said, well, this VC thing, these 5 VCs, man, that sounded kind of cool, right? So maybe you could combine it. Maybe you could be both an entrepreneur and a VC at the same time, right? And so I actually joined Ulrik's team for a while at Vækstfonden, but then a bunch of us were so lucky we were given a chance to start a new fund. And so we started Sunstone, which is just around the corner, in 2007. We are now in our 3rd fund generation. And I'm living the life as both a founder of a fund, so an entrepreneur in his own self, self-employed, and a venture capitalist. And what do I care about in my venture capital world? So how does this relate to you guys? What I care about is from the first computer I had, we were always writing software that would enable people to do stuff. So we were writing this code that would make it easier for someone to do something. But very rarely do we write code that does something for people. So the obvious example is a self-driving car, right? You get into it and it drives. You actually don't control the car, right? And there are other examples out there. But until now, most people that come and pitch me stuff that enables a person to be a little more effective. And what I really care about, is to hear these ideas of people that can take big data, machine learning, all these things, and actually do something for people, right? Totally remove the activity that they look at, that they have to go through, that sucks and is boring, right? And we have a couple of those companies. We have, with Ulrik, we have Blackwood that does that for marketing. I have Tink in Stockholm that's going to do that for personal finance. We have Natural Cycles also in Stockholm that's doing that for contraception for women, so no pills. So these companies are being created today. And if you have a company or if you have an idea for a company that can really make life, markedly different for people, I'd love to hear about it. We do invest, 20 seconds, we invest all across Europe, pretty much all stages. Plan is good and team is good and all these other right things that these people say. I'd love to talk to you. Cool. Thank you.